Hey guys, what up? Total Control 871. I want to share something with you today. I'm still dealing with the aftermath of the ruling, the Thomas Kinzer assault and strong arm robbery. I don't really have a particular topic today. I just really feel like talking and just talking about stuff that has been cycling through my head. No pun intended. Cycling through my head for a while now. I'm going to play for you a video. This video is a couple of years old. I've seen it when it first came out. Nobody really knows exactly what part of the world this is happening in. I know it's kind of loud and here's a lot of ambient noise. Do your best. I'm going to post it. I'm going to post the link to the video in the description. Just give me a few minutes after the video uploads. I have to go in with a separate device to edit the description. And you're more than welcome to scrutinize the footage for yourself. Many of us in the cycling community have known about this footage and have seen it. It's extremely difficult to watch. It truly is. We're going to watch it and then we're going to talk about it. Many of us have tried our best to freeze frame. There is a billboard that's constantly moving in and out of frame. We're trying to see if we can isolate license plate, some sort of writing. It appears to be a right side drive, you know, where vehicles drive on the right side of the road. So that would seem to narrow the scope of the possible locations. The road markings do look a little foreign. The way the arrows, the stem of the arrow is very narrow. I don't think this is in America. The men themselves, the cyclists themselves, they're not speaking English, although it doesn't necessarily mean that whatever language that they're speaking, that's that part of the world that it's happening in. It's a cold climate. That's definitely winter cycling kit. It might look, for those of you who are not familiar with cycling, you may be thinking that that type of apparel would only be good for fall temperatures. No, that's full winter kit. The gear that they're wearing is good for temperatures down into the 20s. So let's have a look and let's see. Again, this is difficult to watch footage.
Не знаю, где нога? Вот нога. Бери другую ногу, за другую ногу бери его. Снимай. Так, бери. Скоро вызывать. Пиши.
Okay, I'm going to replay it again and take you through a little commentary. Hopefully you'll be able to hear me okay. I know it's like really loud and busy here. So, let's see. Alright. So what we're looking at now is we're looking at cyclists. They're riding on what appears to be a freeway. Because we don't know what type of the world this is, I cannot speak for whether or not this road is restricted or non-restricted. So, point is though, the riders, they are not using lane control here, although I myself don't exactly know the exact width of the individual lanes. They're riding on the right side of our lane here, a position that the police here in Egg Harbor Township would have me take. We can see now a little bit more as to why they have selected the lane that they have. Apparently the lane on their right side is a turning lane. They have selected the lane that they're in earlier on so that they do not have to fight traffic. This is very smart because traffic is moving very fast. And rather than get pinned down and end up standing still on a freeway, they have changed lanes into their directional lane earlier on, which means they won't have to fight to merge. Let's see. So there we see, this is important here. So we saw how our lane became dedicated, and we also saw how our lane turns into a jug handle lane. Okay, we see how it's turning here. Okay. Also, what's happening here is that a lane is emerging. We've got a brand new lane that is, shall we say, being born. The cyclist wants to get over. They want to get over into this lane, and they are signaling to do so. Now, what's so important here is that any traffic, any motor traffic that wanted to be in this lane, they should be on the left-hand side of these drivers. But what ends up happening is our big rig, from the looks of it, realized that they were in a turning lane far too late. They were in this turning lane. They had their oh shit moment and thought that they'd just be able to cut in front. He thought that he'd cut in front of these cyclists because, after all, a person on a bicycle isn't going that fast. And these are, from the looks of it, these are very, very fit cyclists. I would estimate that they're cruising real easy at maybe 25, probably 30 miles an hour. They're probably cruising at a nice 30 miles an hour there. So let's see. Here's our big rig, just completely bull in a china shop. This big rig should have been over here. Okay, the driver should have been paying attention and realized what lane they were in and should have been over here. So this is, for those of you who don't know, when you pass somebody, okay, assuming of course this is a right side drive country like here in America where traffic rides on the right, when traffic passes you on the left, that's called an overtake. That's why you hear me say 2 degrees to the left and safely overtake. And when what this truck is doing, it's called an undertake. When you're passing on the right side of a right side drive country, it's called an undertake, and this is an extremely hostile undertake. And we see here that at about another, yeah, right there, it completely clips the hell out of the cyclist. We see that the cyclist's right leg is being dragged under the wheel of the truck here. Inches. Absolutely. Actually, there's nothing to spare, mind you. We got full contact. So it's not like it passed them with inches or centimeters to spare. But what I'm saying is, when I say inches, is had this rider been any further underneath this big rig, this HGV, it's like an oil tanker, this would have ended very differently. Very, very differently. All three cyclists go down. Our rider is positively writhing in agony. And I am going to ding this cyclist right here. They ought to be ashamed of themselves the way they were a little bit more concerned by gingerly putting their bike down. But what can I say? That tends to be the mentality in the cycling community. Let's see if we can... I don't know if you can see there. Let's see if I can move the... Yeah, like, look at that ankle. That looks like it's clean snap. It might even be a compound fracture. I don't know if there's bone sticking out there, but it's very, very bad. Very, very bad. He's absolutely writhing in agony. I wanted to point something out here. So where is it? Did I miss it already? I think I may have missed it already.
Не знаю, где нога? Вот нога. Бери другую ногу, за другую ногу бери его. Снимай. Так, здесь. Скоро вызывать. Пиши.
Bike is absolutely destroyed. Okay, I wanted to point this out as far as a hint of legitimacy to the road. This cyclist appears to not be traveling with the cyclist, which would seem to hint at this road is routinely and regularly traveled by other cyclists. So this very well indeed may be a legitimate road for cyclists to be on. But again, like I say, we don't know. A lot of us in the cycling community have tried to see if we can pin down some wording, license plate, something that can hint at where it's happening at. But yeah, this cyclist here, he's not with them, so... There's our billboard up there that's constantly in and out of frame. And I wouldn't have left him there on the shoulder. Wouldn't have left him there on the road. I'd put him on the damn curb. But I guess his comrades were pretty badly shaken themselves as to what just happened. Okay, now I wish to be fair in my reporting, as I always am. What happened there? Although those cyclists were indeed traveling in a fashion that is advocated by the Egg Harbor Township Police Department, meaning riding on well, that lane splitting, riding on the perforated white lines. Okay, they were clipped by an HGV driver, by a big rig driver that had, well, I suppose we'll never truly know what caused him to do it. Did he space out? Was he intoxicated? Was he screwing around on his phone? We'll never truly know. But for whatever the reason is, they were clipped on an undertake. So they were being undertaken. And my fear on the roads here is, well, I suppose there's always a fear of any type of collision, but the reason why I do not ride on the perforated white lines lane splitting is because, well, the lane is narrow. It will not accommodate, by Officer Devlin's own admission in court while on the stand, that not the big rig dump truck, you know, I asked him, you know, is that vehicle, can both me on my bicycle and that dump truck occupy side by side? And he admitted that it's not enough room. So, you know, hey, if our roads were populated by smart cars, maybe the police would have a leg to stand on. But it's not smart cars, and it's not exactly like on the rarest of occasions for these trucks to go down the road. There's a number of dealerships around here. These big rigs, you know, in all of my videos, okay, put it like that, in every last single one of my videos involving Tilton Road, there is more than one big rig, more than one HGV going down the road. So they're quite numerous and quite large, and they take up the entire width of a very narrow lane. It's why it just simply isn't mathematically possible. Detective Sergeant Heath Purr said while on the stand that he believes that I utilize lane control purely for the purpose of invoking the ire of his police department, of his officers, as he says. This is ridiculous. I am trying to save my life. I suppose Sergeant Purr doesn't understand the scope and the gravity of the situation. After all, they get to drive around in police cars. They are within the safety of their police cars. I tried to point out how their perspective cannot see all the different types of road hazards that we cyclists encounter and face. He did not care. Nobody cared. Okay, so cyclists, I myself, we do not do these things to invoke anybody's ire. It is very real, very quantifiable, and apparently the police department and the judicial system are not willing to acknowledge the severity of these hazardous road geometric layouts. You know, the geometry of the road is a hazardous condition, and they are not willing to acknowledge that is, unless one of their own police officers has been tragically killed, such as New Jersey State Police Trooper Sean Cullen and a number of others. You know, when it's them, their life, then it matters. When it's not, then so what? Thomas Kinzer brutally assaulted me. We didn't see it happen. So what? I believe one of the charges, simple assault. And then we had a SEPTA police officer that was shoved down to the ground by a fleeing suspect. They get aggravated assault. Aggravated. So we see the huge difference in how police are treated versus how the ordinary citizen who pays their wages. So like I said, this type of stuff, it's rolling around in my head. It's why I do what I do. I'm desperately trying to save my life. And remember, my death on the road, it's hindsight. 2020 exoneration. Mr. Dump, you'll be fine. Just move over, ride in the gutter near the curb on the right side of the lane. Never mind if the law doesn't actually say that. You just do what we say, okay? Do what we say and you'll be fine. Don't worry about, oh my God. Like we saw in our video. If that were to happen to me. Oh my. Son of a gun. Looks like Mr. Dunbar was right after all. Looking back in hindsight, looks like Mr. Dunbar was right. Okay, well, if we're done here, let's just get this mess off the road. You know, let's and be quick about it. We got traffic backed up here. We got to get this traffic going, baby. You know, we can't have a wreck here because some cyclist got taken out. Oh, please, big deal. Big deal. Or as Judge Rosenberger would say, I don't care. I don't care if it keeps you safe. His words. He doesn't care. All right, guys, that's what's in my head tonight. I hope I've shown you something. You know. This could be me, or a lot worse. This is what I am fighting to avoid. Because my life is worth it. Every cyclist's life is worth it. Cyclist lives matter, and lane control saves lives. Total Control 871.